becoming obviously a top builder with our company, but also today, this is, session number two, right? Session number two of our masterclass. And, today, we're going to be talking about, of course, the topic is recruiting and how to become a professional recruiter, right? How to become great in this industry. And a lot of you, you guys were on session number one last week, right? And we talked about the importance of a 90-day launch, right? We talked about the importance of focusing on your first 30 days, your first 60 days, your first 90 days, right? We talked about that last week, and you got to ask yourself a question today, right? And how many of you since last week till now, right, this last 7 days, what have you done differently in your business, right? Ask yourself that question today. What has changed, right? You know, you could receive this information today, and you could receive the information from last week, but it's not about just receiving the information. It's also about applying the information and taking action with the information you learned from last week as well. Most people, guess what happened last week? They heard the information. Guess what happened this week? They didn't do much, right? That happens most of the time because our daily habits are not in routine yet, right? Remember, we have to get in routine. We have to make sure our daily habits are doing this on a regular basis. Just like many of you today, you guys woke up and you brush your teeth, right? And you before you go to sleep, you brush your teeth, right? That's something we do every single day because why? It's a daily routine, of course, right? Same thing with our industry and business as well. Everything that you do today, right? Every meeting, every conversation, every prospect, every conversation, everything that you do must be in routine. It has to be just a daily habit. It becomes a lifestyle, right? And once it becomes a daily habit and daily routine, and you take this training and you actually put it into action, you're gonna see better results every single week. Okay. So want to welcome all of you guys to our session number two. And of course, attending all five sessions will give you a physical certificate, okay, framed, okay, which you guys will receive for completing the training as well. Okay, so today's topic, okay, today's topic is, as I mentioned earlier, is recruiting like a professional. I mean, how many of you would love to recruit like a professional, right? We all want to, right? We all want to be the best recruiter out there, right? And I learned this a long time ago, that, recruiting, right, it starts with you first, right? When I first got involved in the industry, I was not a good recruiter. The first time I ever got involved in any type of this type of industry, I was in my teens actually, and I was the worst recruiter in the world, okay? I was so bad and I couldn't recruit anyone, right? I didn't have good skill sets in sales or didn't have that much confidence. I was not a good recruiter. I was so bad. But it was coming to these trainings and applying the skills that I learned, all the information I learned got me to where I am today. But also, of course, on working on myself, right? So today we're going to talk about recruiting like a professional, right? But let's just talk a little bit about where we left off last week, okay? Last week we talked about your first 90 days determines your first year, right? Your first 90 days determines your first year, right? So if your first 90 days determines your first year, think about how important your first 30, 60, 90 days are, right? Your first 90 days means that you should be going out all out with massive action, okay? Speaking to people about our products and business, and recruiting is how that action turns into a team, okay? Don't ever get worried about, oh, like I'm not a big recruiter. I don't like the word recruiting. My friends I feel like I'm pressuring them. Guys, every successful corporation today recruits, right? Universities recruit, right? Your job, your company recruited you, right? Think about the NBA, think about the NFL, think about sports teams, right? Think about K-pop entertainment groups, right? They're recruiting for the best of the best always, right? It happens all the time, right? Think about it. We do this all the time. You got into a relationship, somebody recruited somebody, right? That happens all the time, right? So don't worry about the word recruiting. Recruiting is going to actually help you grow your Remon business, okay? So remember, your first 90 days determines your first year. So what do we got to do, of course, right? And here's what we're going to cover today, okay? Number one, we're going to talk about creating curiosity, okay? Open the door before you ever pitch, okay? So we'll talk about curiosity, how to get people curious. The second thing we'll cover today is earning the interest, right, of the person you're speaking with, right? You have to turn a spark into a real conversation, and then afterwards, an appointment, okay? And number three, the third thing we'll talk about is running the numbers, okay? Knowing your ratios and the activity that drives them, okay? So the three things that we'll cover today. So understand one thing, okay? Here's the mindset. Recruiting is a business, and you have to understand one thing, okay? Yes, getting customers, right? Getting customers, selling ads to your business, right? Obviously, it's great to get customers. We want to get a lot of customers, okay? And that's a great thing, okay? Many people start with getting customers, but always remember one thing. A sale earns you a customer one time, one paycheck, right? However, building your team and having a team multiplies your business, right? Another partner you bring in, now it's not you doing it yourself. Now you have two people doing it together. A partner brings their effort, their circle of contacts, and also the growth as well. Now you have two people working with you versus you working by yourself, right? In this industry, it's actually one of the top skills, right? If you master recruiting, okay, you'll never have to worry about income again. I always tell my leaders every time I have conversations with them is that either you become the national director, you become the ND, or you find the ND. It's the same thing. It's okay. It doesn't matter which one you want to do, but both ways is good. Think about this, right? You becoming a national director, that's an amazing, that's wonderful. But imagine you having an ND right below you. Like, how many of you would love to have a national director like myself in your team, right? That you recruited, right? But maybe you're not a national director. Maybe you're only a team leader. Maybe you're only a director, but you signed up someone like myself that became a national director. That's still good as well, right? So you could become the national director or you could find the national director. Both option is good. But understand that when you're building a team, okay, when you're building a team, you're multiplying your efforts, okay? You're multiplying your growth, you're multiplying your income because you're working with multiple amounts of people, right? Think about this. Most people have 24 hours in a day, right? So when you see people that are wealthy today or rich today or they're making a lot of money today, honestly, most of them are not doing it by themselves. It's because they have a team, right? When you have a team of 10, guess what's happening now? You have 240 hours a day. When you have a team of 100, you have 2,400 hours a day. That's why you could do so much in one day versus you working by yourself. When I used to first get involved in the industry back then, it was only me working back then. It was me working. I was working. I was working. I was working. I was the one working hard every single day. 24 hours a day, 8, 9, 10 hours a day. It was just me working. But I realized it's just me working, there was always a cap, right? There was always a limit. I couldn't break through that limit until I had a team, until I got my first partner, my second partner, my third partner, my fourth partner, my 10th partner. And then in a week, when I was only doing maybe one, two sales a week, my sales jumped to 5 to 10 a week because I had a team. When my team went from 10 to 50, right? Then I started doing 40 to 50 sales a week, right? When my team would start doing 100 people in my team, my team started amplifying even bigger and bigger. So I realized when you work with a team, right? You could do bigger numbers. And that's why every successful corporation today, every successful individual today, they have teams. They have teams, and that's why they're producing more and they're doing higher volume versus one person doing everything, right? It's impossible for one person in Riemann to become a national director. It's impossible for one person in Riemann to do a million SP in sales by themselves. That's impossible, right? 5 million SP a month by themselves, it's impossible, right? The only reason why there are people and teams right now doing 2 million, 5 million, 10 million plus in revenue every month it's not because if it's one person, it's because it's a team. Okay. So always understand that you want to build a team. Okay. And you want to build a team of whether it's 2, 5, 10, 100 plus, but a team will help you get more done in a day versus you doing everything by yourself. Okay. Now, there's an amateur mindset and there's a professional mindset. Okay. When people get started, the amateur starts recruiting when they feel like it. When they tell themselves, you know what, I'm not ready to talk to anyone yet. I got to get all the information first. I got to get all the details first. I got to try the products first. And they're just waiting until they feel like they're 100% ready. Okay. And they're waiting for the perfect prospect to come in, right? An amateur is thinking, oh, she won't do it. He won't do it. She's too successful, right? That's how amateurs think, right? And amateurs lead with a pitch and you pressure people and you go through an emotional roller coaster, meaning, you signed up with Riemann, you're excited. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I just joined the number one K beauty company. I'm going to go out there and get a lot of customers and sign everybody up. The second, third day, you talk to a few people. They told you this things like stuff like this doesn't work. So now your emotional high went from here to down here now, right? And then you're like, oh my gosh, maybe this won't work. My friends are not supporting me. My family's not supporting me. The internet said this and that about what we do here, right? And now you're feeling like maybe you made the wrong decision, right? Maybe you made the wrong decision. Oh my gosh, I just spent this money buying some products. Maybe this won't work out for me, right? And then, of course, next week you work with your mentor and your coach and you're getting some results, right? You go back to an emotional high, right? You have to understand that when you're new, you're going to go through all this, right? But here's how the professional things, okay? Professionals recruits every single day on a schedule, right? It's clockwork. Every single day, they got meetings set up. They got a 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., 4 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m. They have a set schedule every single day where they're recruiting, 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 and they're talking to everybody. And they're sorting people, not convincing people. And what I mean by that is, as I have 8 to 10 conversations a day, I don't care if somebody says no to me. All I'm looking for is I'm sorting. I'm sorting. Who is open-minded? Who is open-minded? Who wants to get involved in K-body? Who wants to take early advantage? Who wants to be a pioneer? Who wants to have first movers advantage, right? I'm sorting through the group, right? If someone says no, I don't try to convince them, right? I don't try to convince them, right? I just move on to the next person, right? Always the mindset. And you want to lead with curiosity and questions, okay? And professionals trust in numbers and they stay consistent, right? I've been doing this a very long time, and after you do it for a long time, you know, an average always appears. Okay, an average always appears, meaning the amount of conversations and people you speak to, you will get an average, right? If 10 people tried the products, if 10 prospects you looked at the opportunity and tried the products out, you'll get most likely a one planner that becomes a senior manager from 10 people that actually used and looked at the opportunity, at least one SM. They may not sign up as an SN, they may sign up as a planner that becomes a manager, that becomes a senior manager, but usually the ratio is at least 10 people that look at the opportunity and all try out the products. One of them would become a senior manager, right? And if that's the formula for getting one new potential senior manager, and you wanted to get 3 senior managers, what would you do? What would you do? See, professionals think like, okay, if I need to get 3 senior managers, okay, what do I got to do? This is how they think. Okay, that means that 30 people need to try out the products, 30 people need to see the opportunity, and I'll get 3 SMs. So professionals go through 30 people real quickly. They find 30 potential prospects, they go for 30 exposures, 30 people trying the products, 30 people seeing the opportunity, and they get 3 SMs within the first 7 days. While amateurs, right, are asking themselves, how do I get 3 SMs? They go through one, no. Two, no. Three, no. Fourth, yes. Fifth, no. They're going through ups and the emotional. They're playing this emotional game right now, right? And now they're thinking like it's not going to work out. You have to understand that as a professional, which all of you will become professionals, you got to trust the numbers. Stay consistent enough to trust the numbers, okay? Stay consistent enough to trade numbers. Some of you say, hey, Steve, I've been with Riemann for a while now, but my numbers aren't showing, right? Well, ask yourself this question. Last 7 days, how many people saw the opportunity? Last 7 days, how many people have tried the products out? Last 7 days, right? How many one-on-ones did you do? Last 30 days, how many meetings have you had? How many people have tried the products out? If you actually count your numbers, last 30 days, and let's say your numbers like, oh, I spoke to 3 people last 30 days. I had 3 people try the products last 30 days. Well, think about this. If the formula is 1 out of 10 and you did only 3 exposures or 3 meetings, then most likely your total number for now should be 0, right? You wouldn't have that much volume, right? So if you understand numbers game, right, this business is much easier, okay? It's much easier, okay? So the first thing you want to do in becoming a great recruiter is this, okay? You want to create curiosity, okay? You can't recruit someone who isn't paying attention. Curiosity is how you earn the right to have a conversation. If they're not curious, okay, they're not going to pay attention, right? They got to get curious. We always talk about this during trainings. You want to be the movie trailer, not the movie, right? So many times people come into Riemann, whether you're brand new with us or you've been with us for a while, you get excited. So you overload people with information. You never want to do that. You want to have a few short conversations to get them curious enough to finding out what you do. It's all about curiosity. If I'm not curious on what you're doing, guess what? I don't want to hear what you're going to say to me. But if you got me curious, guess what? Well, guess how I'm thinking? Oh, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. Right? It's like when you hear a gossip, you hear a little bit of it, but sometimes you might want to hear a little bit more, right? Curiosity is what makes people want to have a conversation. Curiosity is what makes people want to come out to an event. Curiosity is what makes people actually have a conversation with you, right? So remember, someone who's not paying attention doesn't give you the right to have a conversation. So remember, your first objective to becoming a great recruiter is creating curiosity, okay? Make sure you write that down and become great at creating curiosity, okay? Remember, it's curiosity, it's not convincing, okay? And to become great in this is number one is you got to keep it short. Say less than you want to. The goal is a question back, not a yes, right? You want the conversation to keep going. You want them to start asking you questions, right? Remember, make it about them, right? People care about their life, not your company. Speak to what they want and you lead the hook. End with an open loop so they're open to asking to know more, right? Every time it's a curiosity statement or something you could say, every time I have a conversation, anywhere I go, I'm always talking to people. I'm always giving them a compliment, right? And I talk a little bit about what we do, but I don't give them too much information. I just briefly mention it and then I take it away, right? And I talk about them, right? And I do this over and over and over again because I'm dropping a little bit of curiosity in them, but at the same time, I'm taking it back and asking them more about them. So yeah, I brought it. I brought up K Beauty. I brought up a little bit what I do, but at the same time, I'm asking more about them and asking them more questions about what they do or where they're working or how they're liking their job. Right? And that's how you create curiosity and convince of curiosity instead of convincing them to, hey, you got to join my team. You got to do this. This is amazing. I never do that. Okay. So, how do you spark curiosity? Okay. Well, you want to, as I mentioned earlier, it's a compliment you give someone first, and then you give them a question. Just last night, we were here in Hong Kong. I'm in Hong Kong at the moment, and we were at, Sharon's birthday party, and we were at a lounge here, right? We were at a lounge restaurant place, and the waitress, right? Waitress was serving us, some food and some drinks. And the first thing I told her was, no, I asked what her name was. Her name was actually Alicia. And then I said, hey, you have great energy, Alicia, right? I gave her a compliment, right? I asked for her name. I asked for her name. I asked her, have you been working here for a long time? And then I gave her a great compliment, like, hey, you have some great energy, Alyssa, Alicia. And then we just had a quick conversation. I told her, hey, we're actually in the K beauty industry, K beauty business. Oh, and then she was like, oh, wow, that's why all of you guys have some great skin. And then, we had a short conversation about it. And then we just stayed connected, right? It was just, just a very short compliment, right? And then a question about it, and not a question, but I just told her a little bit about what we do. And then, of course, I told one of the team members to later, maybe get a phone number later afterwards. But that's how you want to do it. Always compliment them first. People love hearing a compliment. Think about the last time you heard about a compliment about maybe your skin. Like, oh, wow, you have amazing skin. Every time you get a compliment, doesn't it feel good? People love getting complimented, right? So every time you're out talking to people, compliment them. Oh, hey, that looks you dressed so nice. Oh, I love your energy. Oh, I love the service you're giving us. I love the fact that you're working so hard, right? And by the way, my name is Steve. I actually work in the K beauty industry, Korean skincare industry. It's massive right now. And hey, someone like yourself, wow, with that kind of energy and that kind of charisma, I would love to connect with you. Maybe potentially, maybe you could work with us, maybe on a side project in the K beauty industry as well, right? And I'm gonna get the conversation and I'm gonna get the phone number, right? That's how I'm creating curiosity, right? I'm complimenting them first, piquing interest, getting the phone number, right? I could do that with strangers. I could do it with people that I know, right? If it's somebody I know, if I someone in my circle, I tell them, hey man, you've always been a go-getter. You've always been an entrepreneur. I love what you've been doing. I'm working on a side project in the K-beauty industry. Have you tried Korean skincare, right? I'm always going to create curiosity, but at first, I'm going to give them a compliment, okay? The second thing is you could also say, you could be very genuine with someone, right? Hey, I just started something a few months ago in the K-beauty space. I'm actually loving it. I'll fill you in soon. So you're telling them very straight up, but you don't give them all the details, but you tell them, hey, I'll come back to you a little bit later and give you more details, right? So now they're like on the fence, like waiting for more details about what you're going to say. Or you could be very direct with people. Hey, I'm expanding my team and I thought about you first. Can I share with you what I'm working on? Very direct, right? Hey, sometimes it's okay to be very direct too with some people, right? Just be like, hey, look, this is what I'm doing. Before anybody else, I want to go to you first because I value our friendship, I value our relationship. I want to share with you what I'm working on, right? Sometimes it's okay to be direct, but you want to create curiosity everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. Every conversation, every meeting, it's curiosity. It's never, I had a conversation with someone, one of my team members said, "Hey, Steve, I've been talking to a lot of people, but I haven't been getting a lot of great results. No one's coming out to my Zoom calls, nobody's coming out to my meetings. What am I doing wrong?" I looked at the individual's conversations with the potential prospects they had, and they were literally sending out like huge paragraphs, okay, talking about all the ingredients, talking about the lava water, talking about the volcanic, everything. It was like sending out a textbook answer to all these people. Now, guys, if you do that, you're gonna lose interest in the person, okay? Remember, our job is to create curiosity, right? Not feed them and overload them with so much information, right? For example, I could be drinking this, this is just water here, right? But let's say this was a drink, right? I could open it up and I could literally drink this and say, "Wow, this was delicious. Want to try some, right?" Or I can say, "Hey, I got this drink right here. The ingredients here, it has, let's say, 12 grams of sugar, 14 grams of sodium. If I give you all the ingredients and I say, do you want to try? Would you try the drink? Of course not. But if I just drink it and I say, oh my gosh, this was delicious, and you see my reaction, right? That's gonna make you want to drink the drink, right? That's gonna make you want to drink the drink, right? So remember, we want to create curiosity. You want to spark curiosity, and then you lead with everything else, okay? Second thing, after creating curiosity is earning the interest. Interest is built by listening, okay, not talking. Find what they want, then get the appointment, okay? Let's talk about this, okay? Your job after creating curiosity, and they're now interested, of course, right? Is not to just talk, 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 talk. Now is it time to listen to them, okay? Let them talk. We call it form, FORM, okay? You want to write this down too. F stands for family, O stands for occupation, R stands for recreation, M stands for motivation. Every time I have a conversation with any prospect, every single time, I follow this format, right? And the first thing I talk about is, hey, are you married? Do you have kids, right? Like I want to find out like their family status, okay? Yes, I do ask them about the job, but first, of course, sometimes I'll say the job or I'll do the family. But for usually when I have a conversation, I talk with them. Hey, nice to meet you. How are you doing today? And I get to know them, right? I want to find out, hey, are you, if they're the mother, they have two kids, or how old their kids are. I want to know what their family status is, right? So if they're a mother to kids, kids are maybe in their younger, just a couple years old, right? I know exactly kind of where they're standing, or if they're a mother and wife and they have kids that are at like 18, 20, now you know where they are in terms of like, where the kids are. And if they're about to retire, if she's like, oh, my kids are already old, 20 plus years old, 28 years old, I'm about to be 60, 65 and about to retire. Now, like, okay, she's probably doing this because she wants to do something outside of retirement as a side hustle to keep active as well, right? So, number one is you want to ask them about their family because why? If they have kids, if they have, obviously, depending on what their status is, you could find out, okay, they might want to do this because they want to have more time later with kids or with their family, or maybe they want to take care of their spouse, right? What their significant other. So number one is family, right? Second thing is occupation, right? What do they do for work, right? Are they a nurse? Are they a doctor? Are they a teacher? Are they an accountant, right? What's their background? Do they love what they do? Do they want more? What's holding them back? What's one thing they love? What's one thing they hate? So I'm having a conversation about the occupation. Third thing is recreation. What do they do? What would they do with freedom, right? What would they do if they had? I like to find out what do they like to have fun? Do they travel? Right? I'm finding out as much detail as much as I can, and motivation. Right? What would they change if they started earning additional 1 to 2 thousand a month? What would life change for them if passive income started hitting them in their income every single 30 days? Right? Like I'm finding out as much as I can when I talk to somebody. So I created curiosity. They're interested. And now let's say I'm having a conversation. I'm letting them speak as much as possible. I'm asking them, hey, so what do you do? Right? Are you married? You have kids, right? What do you do for fun? Like what's your motivation? What would you want to get out of this? How much money would you want to earn from here, right? Stuff that we would ask in a launch. Same thing, right? You want to master form, okay? Getting really good at building rapport with your people, okay? If you could do this, and now you understand exactly where they are, what kind of family status they have, what kind of job they have, what they might want to change, what's motivating them, right? And what they like to have fun, you can curate and help them through Riemann by understanding about them first. Okay. It's so important to know what they do. If you don't know anything about them, their occupation, their family, their recreation or motivation, it's so hard to have a conversation. You're like talking to a blank wall. Okay. So make sure that you are forming and talking to everybody when you have conversations with individuals as well. Okay. Next, okay, let's talk about after you form, okay? And you know, going back to form a little bit, let me just go back here. This could also help you with, when you guys have a pop-up, right? When you guys have someone and you talk to someone about learning about the business or our products, I would have a conversation, for example, let's say I would say, "Hey, Marie, nice to meet you. Where you from?" She goes, "I'm from San Diego, I guess. So what do you do?" "Oh, I have my own business in the sculpting industry." And I said, "Oh, that's great to hear that. How long you been doing that?" "Oh, I've been doing that for about 5 years." "Oh, do you like that?" Or, anything you would want to change? She might say, "Oh, it's a great business. I love what I do, but of course, I always keep my options open, which is great." So now I'm hearing, okay, she likes to keep her options open. I'm going to try to find out, okay, what are the reasons why she wants to keep her options open, right? Oh, do you have family? Do you have kids? She goes, yes, I have 2 kids, married, got my 2 kids. So I could tell now, okay, she has a business. She's probably working a lot of hours, but she has kids at the same time. So my mindset is thinking, okay, any business owner that has a business would always want to have more time later on with their kids. That's 100% the truth all the time, right? Who wouldn't want to have more time with their kids? Or we all do, right? With family, you always want to have more time, right? So of course I'm asking, okay, so you want to have more time with your kids? How old are your kids? Kids are just 7, 8, 9 years old, right? Young kids, okay, they're young right now. You're working in your business. What does your husband do? I'm finding out what they're doing, right? Family and occupation, right? Then I will ask them, okay, so like, what do you like to do for fun, right? Like, do you guys travel a lot, or what do you guys usually do, or maybe she's talking to me like, yeah, we would love to travel more. We get to travel once in a while here and there, but if we could have more, then we definitely would. But of course, business, I'm busy with running my business. My husband's a nurse, and yeah, he's busy at the hospital. Kids, we're all busy right now, right? And so I'm finding out, okay, what they like to have fun, and at the same time, what's motivating them that would want it, what would motivate them to change, right? So I'm finding out as much as I can by having this conversation, and now it's so much easier for me to, of course, have more conversations with the individual, with Marie, of course, right? And of course, people can say things like, okay, they could tell you this, but they could also tell you stuff like, oh, but I would love to also have better skin. Some people come to the pop-up to have better skincare routine. I want to get rid of my melasma, my rosacea, right? Whatever the case may be, find out what they want to change, right? If it's a skin issue, ask them, what would you like to improve on your skin? What's holding you back? What's concerning you right now, right? Ask these type of questions as much as possible, because the more you ask, the easier it is to actually have a conversation, okay? Now, the invitation, right? So is everyone getting so far, right? Curiosity first, right? Curiosity, and then number two, right, is the form part, okay? Curiosity to form, okay? And let's talk about the invitation now, okay? The invitation, okay? The invitation when you're inviting someone, okay, to become a master recruiter, right? You always got to keep it simple, right? It's a clear, short, either a message or a short video or a call or a quick coffee is never the whole pitch. It's never the whole pitch, right? And what I mean by that is too many times, right? Too many times you people mess up on this. There's an invitation and there's a presentation, okay? The invitation and the presentation are two separate items, okay? Two separate events. Many times people take the invitation and they put the presentation into one and they do it all together. You do not want to do that. When you want to become a master recruiter, a master inviter, you focus on one thing, which is the invitation only. Okay, you invite only, whether it's through a message, a call, a short video, hey, can we get let's go get have a quick coffee. Let's meet tomorrow at 2 p.m., right? It's an invitation. It's not, hey, I want to talk to you about our K beauty business that we've done 2.5 billion in sales. Are you free tomorrow at 2 p.m.? You're gonna love these products. We work with this, and this, and you're doing the presentation and the invitation at the same time. And that's why you're not getting the invitation of people coming out because you're overloading the invite. You're adding the presentation with the invitation. Now it's not simple anymore. And now people are like, what the hell is this? Right? So you want to make sure that keep the invitation and the presentation separate and just focus on the invite and give them two options. Hey, Tuesday, Thursday works better for you. 6 p.m. or 8 p.m., right? And either or is easier than a yes or no. Okay, let me say that one time. And either or is easier than a yes or no, right? That's what we always say. Give people two options, right? I always tell people, hey, our company is going to have a presentation Wednesday, Thursday at 6 p.m. at Pacific time. Which one's better for you, right? Wednesday or Thursday, right? I give people two options, right? Not a yes or no. Always give people two options and let them decide which one is better for them, okay? Confirm and hand out. Lock the time. You can use a third-party tool like Calendly or a Zoom calendar that you could send out to them, and you can lock in the meeting for the Zoom call for the Zoom invitation. Okay, so that's how you want to do it on the invitation. Get good at making it simple. Get good at giving them two options, and get good at locking in the time, and of course, letting lock into your event, whether it's a Zoom call that we're having or it's a one-on-one call that you're doing personally as well. Okay, that is the invitation. So we heard about curiosity, right? We heard about you forming them, right? How to invite. Now you got to run the numbers. See, recruiting is a numbers game. You can win on purpose if you know your ratios and feed the top of the funnel. I'll explain exactly how this works, okay? So here's a recruiting funnel, okay? I could have a list of 100 contacts, and out of the 100 contacts, 40 of them, okay, 40 conversations reaching out to me, okay? I messaged 100 people, 40 says they want to learn more. Out of the 40 conversations I have, 15 people want to set up an appointment with me. 15 people set the appointment, four new partners join, right? This could happen, and it happens many times as well. The better you become in terms of a better recruiter, a better closer, a better presenter, yes, the numbers and ratios do get much better, right? But if you're brand new with us, you just have to go through a lot of numbers. Okay, you just have to go through a lot of numbers. So, but if you don't have a lot of contacts and you don't have a big list, you're gonna have less conversations, you're gonna have less appointments, and you have less people signing up. So remember, it's always a numbers game. When I first started Remon, right? What I did was, of course, I posted on social media to people that I knew first, who's interested in learning about a company, right? I sent out messages. I sent out literally over 100 messages, right, to as many people as possible. I didn't prejudge. I messaged everyone about, hey, got a question. I got a question. I got a question. Have you ever used K Beauty? Have you ever used Korean skincare? Right? I just asked hundreds of people. Not everybody responded back to me, but whoever did said, hey, Steve, nice to meet you. And then, hey, Steve, long time. It's been a while. And we had a conversation. But out of the people that responded back to me, not everybody was interested. Out of the people that responded back to me, right, many of them said, hey, Steve, I would love to try the products out. Hey, Steve, I would love to meet up, right, or have an appointment or a Zoom call, right? And from there, from the qualified people that were actually interested, I made sure, number one, they got to try out the products. Number two, they learned about the business. No matter what, that was my goal. My goal was, okay, I'm going to get you to try the products out. Whether if you're in the East Coast and I'm in the West Coast, I'll send you a kit, try it out, right? I didn't even charge them for the kit because I wanted the least resistance for them to try the products out. I knew that more people trying the products, higher chances of me getting more partners to sign up, right? So it was always a numbers game for me. It was never about this person said no, this person did respond to me, and I got emotional about that. None of that ever phased me, right? I had more no's, trust me, I had more no's and more people not responding to me than a lot of people that ever signed up and got yeses, right? I went through so many no's. I went through so many, people not responding, right? So many rejections, right? That's how I got to where I am today. It's because I went through the numbers. I went through the numbers, right? Remember, if you have a small list, small contact list, think about it. You're not going to get that much results. Bigger the list, okay? Bigger the list, you'll have more conversations and more partners, right? More names means more conversations, and the more reps you get, the better you convert, and the volume compounds both ways, okay? As you get better, as your numbers increase and you convert better, right? It's going to compound, compound, compound. And over time, you're going to have a big team. But remember, you got to start with a big list. You got to go out there and put a lot of output first. You got to contact a lot of people first. You got to message a lot of people first. You got to just get it out there as much as possible. All the products you have right now, don't let it sit in your house. Get it onto people's faces as fast as you can. Either they're coming to you through the pop-up to try the products out, or you're sending out samples, right? Or you're meeting with them. But your goal right now is this. If you're sitting on some products right now, get rid of it this week. Get rid of it this week. Your goal is to get more exposures, more people trying the products, even if you have to give them some samples here and there. Remember, more people trying the products, more conversations, more yeses, more new partners, more new customers, and your business grows, right? It's all about getting out there to more people, okay? So, also you want to measure your activity, right? Measure your activity, what you're doing every single day and every single week, right? How many new people have you reached out today? Is it five? Right? Write it down. How many actual real conversations have you had about Riemann? Was it three? How many appointments have you had this past week? Look back at your calendar the past 7 days, right? Or Monday to Friday, right? How many one-on-one appointments have you had this past week, right? How many names have you added to your list, right? Measure the activity, not just the outcome, right? Activity is the part you can control. The results follow, right? So what I love to do always is this, okay? I'm making also appointments every single day, right? Whether I'm having 5 appointments or 7 appointments. And let's say in a week, I had 40 appointments. Out of the 40 appointments, how many of them signed up? How many of them became planners? How many of them bought products? How many of them became managers? How many of them became senior managers, right? You can kind of track your numbers. And the way you want to increase your numbers is you increase your appointments, you increase the numbers, right? You increase it reach outs. The more you, the more you, reach out there and the more you track your numbers, it's easier to determine how your results will look like, right? Just because you signed up a few people this past week doesn't mean that you should go out there and try to manage your few people. Too many times people sign up a few people. You have 2 people and 3 people in your team. Now you're like, oh, I have a team now. Let me just help them. Let me just manage them now. Let me see how they're doing today. Let me ask them, hey, did you get a customer? Hey, did you sign up anybody, right? Do not be that type of manager. Do not be the person that manages people, right? The best way for you to lead, the best way for you to recruit, the best way for you to become a master recruiter, and you want that to duplicate is you going out there and doing it yourself. You going out yourself and actually becoming the person that goes out there and recruits people. And the way that you become better and better, and the way that your team follows is that while you're doing it, you're teaching your team how to do it as well. You're teaching your team how to do it, right? The best type of example is you doing it together with your team members, okay? If you want to become a great recruiter, do a presentation with your team member, right? Do a pop-up with your team member. Do a one-on-one with your team member, right? It's always monkey see, monkey do. People see how you do it, they copy. People see how you do it, they copy, right? You want to get more people to copy you, just have more people doing it with you guys, right? That's how you grow your team, right? If you're by yourself right now, if you don't have a team yet, if you're by yourself right now, you got to go to obviously the basics, right? Which is obviously making a list, putting the output, setting up the appointments, doing the one-on-ones, or connecting and doing three-way calls or three-way Zoom calls with your sponsor, your upline, or your leaders. You want to do a lot of those, right? But if you already have a team right now and you want to, amplify your team and you want your team to get really good at things, get people to do it with you guys, right? When they're doing it together with you, a Zoom call together, a training together, a pop-up together, right? And they're watching you do it, that's the fastest way somebody will learn. When they actually see you guys do it at the same time, okay? So work on that, of course, and that's gonna, of course, help you guys all grow your business. And don't let a day go by without a few conversations and a few appointments every single day, guys. Weekly, if not daily. Consistency beats intensity every single time. I talk about this 100% of the time. You got to have conversations every single day. Every single day. New appointments, new conversations. And that's the only way, guys, you got to really continue to grow your business. So pick your number and start tomorrow, right? How many conversations will you have tomorrow? How many appointments will you have this upcoming week, next 7 days? How many new people are you going to add to your list, right? This is the stuff that you got to do every single day. You got to actually put down these numbers. You got to actually write down your goals, right? These are things that I've always done, right? Every time I'm having appointments, I'm having meetings, I'm writing down the names, right? I'm writing down the names of the people that I spoke to, right? I'm visually seeing it, right? The people that said, "Oh, I'm going to join next week." The people that says maybe. The people says, "Okay, I'm going to try. I want to try the products out," right? How many people in your circle is trying out the products, right? When I was in my early stages of Riemann, every week I had people just trying out the products. Hey Steve, I'm gonna try the products out and get back to you in a week. Hey Steve, I'm gonna try the products out and get back to you in 2 weeks. Hey Steve, I'm gonna try the products out and get back to you in 30 days. So while I had all these people trying the products, guess what I did? I didn't wait for them. Okay, let me just sit back at home and wait for that person to contact me when she's ready to sign up. I didn't do that. Amateurs do that. You get people to try the products, and guess what you do? You wait at home. Let me see when she'll contact me back and she's ready to sign up. Oh, it's been 30 days. I still didn't get a text yet that she's interested in signing up yet. You're waiting and waiting and waiting. Don't wait for anybody. Do not wait for anybody. Your job is not to be a waiter, okay? Waiters, waiters don't make that much money, okay? But I've been a waiter before. You don't want to do that, okay? Don't wait on people. Your job is to do this. As people are trying it out and people are waiting it out, that's fine. Let them try it out. Let them use it for 30 days or 2 days. But this is what I did. As they were waiting, I kept on looking for new people. I kept on meeting people every single day. I kept on having conversations every single day. I kept on having meetings every single day. So while I'm in the trenches of meeting people, demoing, pop up, and doing all this, boom, a text message came. Hey Steve, I'm ready now to join. Another new partner joined. I'm having Zooms and Zooms and meeting people and traveling. Boom, another text message comes. Hey Steve, it's been 2 weeks. I tried the products out. I love it. I'm ready to join. When can I get started? Great. Right. So I always had a rotation of people texting me, messaging me, saying, Steve, I'm ready now. I'm ready now. I'm ready now. Because I had so much output, 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 output. Sample, 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 sample. Try, 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 right? Or they joined, they bought products, they received it, they used it, they liked it, they waited a week or 2 weeks to actually officially join and officially get started, right? So it was so much output that automatically it came back to me tenfolds, right? Remember, everyone has a different starting point, everyone has a different journey. Some people start fast, some people start slow. Some people want to try the products at first, some people want to go fast in the business first. You can't determine which option they'll go first, right? You can't control it. Some want to go slow, let them go slow. Some want to go fast, let them go fast. But your job is just to keep putting as much work into the business first, right? And eventually everything comes back to you tenfold, right? And that's how you become a great recruiter, right? That's how you become a great recruiter, right? So for me, my mindset always was, okay, I just got to get a lot of people to try the products because the product sells. I just got to find business-minded people too that want to learn about the business, right? I got to get people plugged into the system, right? Into our Riemann system, right? To go to the orientations, the trainings, and all that. That was important for me. If I meet somebody and they tell me, hey, Steve, I own a bunch of spas and med spas, I'm a business owner, and I have so many locations. And let's say they're successful, they're wealthy, they're rich. But if they can't plug into the system, that's not the person I want to work with, right? I don't care how rich that person is. If they cannot plug into the system, that's not the person that I really want to work with. Remember this, right? Systems, okay? Systems and people create freedom in your life, okay? Systems and people create freedom in your life. If you're gonna work all by yourself, okay, and you're gonna do this all by yourself, it's the same thing as you having another job if you're gonna do this all by yourself. If you can just do sales and sales and sales and sales, yes, you can still make a lot of money getting customers, but you're gonna be doing this for the rest of your life. You don't want that. You want freedom, okay? You want freedom, right? You want freedom. And the way you get freedom is by having a team and plugging your team into a system that will create freedom in your business and freedom in your life. It's not about one person coming and say, "Hey, I'm gonna do big things. I have all the money in the world," right? It's not about that. "Hey, I'm a doctor. I own a building here." It's not about that. People plugging into the system, building the business, right? That's what you want, right? That's what you want. And that's how you will have freedom long term with our company, right? That's how you're gonna have freedom. The best thing about our industry, guys, is the freedom part. Freedom to travel, freedom to do whatever you want, freedom to not worry about money or expenses or finances. Take care of the people that you want, right? Because of passive income and time freedom, right? Remon allows you to do that. Remon allows you to do that. But if you want that, you got to build a team. You got to start having conversations. And I know your first conversation is very hard to have because you're worried about what they're going to say. You're worried about the opinions they may say to you. I was just like that in the beginning. I was just like that. I was scared to talk to people because I was afraid to get a no. I was afraid to get a rejection. But I realized that at the end of the day, their opinions, right? It doesn't pay my bills, right? So I had to go out there and build my business. I had to go out there and go through my rejections. I had to go out there, right, and become a great recruiter, right? And until you do so, right? Until you do, and eventually you will, all of you will, you guys will have a strong business, you guys will have leveraged income, passive income, and you guys will be able to make time freedom as well with our company as well. So recruiting is important, right? It doesn't happen overnight. You don't become a great recruiter overnight. It takes time, right? But I'm telling all of you guys that it's a great skill to learn. But everywhere you go, when you're at a Starbucks, you're at a cafe, at a restaurant, just have a conversation with the worker there, right? Hey, nice to meet you, Sarah. Hey, nice to meet you. Hey, nice to meet you, Annie. Hey, nice to meet you, Susanna. How long you been working at the restaurant here as a waitress, right? Oh, 4 or 5 years? Oh, okay, long time. Do you like it here? Yeah, it's good. It's just a part-time gig. Well, if it's just a part-time gig, it's great to hear. Like, hey, by the way, I'm actually working in the K-beauty space. Have you heard about K-beauty or K-pop or K-drama? She goes, yes, I love K-pop. I love K-drama. Once you bring that kind of stuff up, it opens up even more conversations. And then you let them know, hey, by the way, I work in the K-beauty space. I'm only here for a couple days right now, but hey, you have a great personality. I love your energy, right? I love, just the way that you serve doesn't help us out right now. I would love to stay connected with you. Do you have Instagram? Do you have social media? Let's stay connected. I would love to share with you about a little bit what our company does. We're actually looking for people in this location, and you might be a great potential. I don't know if it'll work out for you or not, but let's just stay connected, right? I've had those conversations over and over and over again. Now, does everybody text you back and everybody sign up? Of course not. But the more you do that, the better you become. And what's so bad about getting a rejection from someone, a stranger that you don't even know? Who cares? It's all practice, right? And the more you do, the better you become. The greatest recruiters you see today in this industry are great because they went through so much. They recruited a lot. They went through a lot of rejections. They went through a lot of people as well, right? That's all it is. The more you do, the better you become. That's all it is. And the more you keep on doing it, eventually you'll become a professional, right? Go through the mistakes, go through the challenges, go through all of that. It's all part of the journey. I'm going to tell you right now, the end of the journey, it's never the end. There's never an ending to the journey. Just letting you guys know. It just becomes your lifestyle, right? Me doing a Zoom call today, me having a conversation at a coffee shop, me having a conversation with a waitress or anyone about Riemann, it's my life today. I just talk about it because I love Riemann so much, right? So it's a continuous journey, right? But on the journey, right? Trainings like this, becoming a better recruiter, all of that is going to help you along the journey. Don't worry about if someone's a better recruiter than you today. Don't worry if someone's doing much better than you today. It's okay. Everyone has a different start date. I talked about it last training as well, right? I talked about it last training as well. Don't compare your first month to somebody's 10th year, right? You're gonna hurt yourself doing that, right? Everyone has their own journey, everyone has their own start date, but the most important thing is you stay consistent, you staying plugged in, right? And you keep on growing and learning yourself and developing yourself so you could become the better version of you. Okay? I talked about the last training as well. You becoming the better version of you becoming the best version of you is your greatest investment ever. Remember, your best investment is not stocks, it's not crypto, it's not real estate. Your best investment is investing in you personally. When you grow, everything else grows. When you grow your mind, everything else grows. Always work on yourself first. That's why trainings like this we're having today, like this today, is important to grow you as an individual. And as you grow, you can later grow your team members. And as your team members grow, your business grows automatically, right? So that's all for today, guys, for the recruiting topic. And hopefully today you guys picked up some good nuggets a little bit here and there to help you guys, okay, to apply it this week. Remember, we talked about last week, first 90 days. What you do your first 3 months determines your first year, your first 3 years, right? Now we talk about how to become a great recruiter, right? Prospecting, right? Getting people curious, forming them, okay? Form, don't forget form, okay? Apply everything that I mentioned today, which will help all of you guys grow your Remind business. And of course, next week, right? Next week here, we have, of course, our next training next week, which of course we're excited about next week as well. So next week, let's see here, we will talk about, I believe next week is going to talk about momentum. Okay, we're going to talk about momentum and building momentum in your business and sustaining momentum in your business, which we'll be talking about next week as well. So a lot of great things happening, guys. And of course, if you're in Asia, obviously whoever's in Hong Kong, I'll see everyone in Hong Kong at the office. We have a brand new office in Hong Kong. We have an event there in a few hours. So I'll see everybody in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is beautiful. As you can see, a beautiful Hong Kong here. And of course, we'll see everyone in Hong Kong soon. And we'll see you guys also in Singapore. Singapore, we're going to have a great event. And of course, in Philippines. See you guys all very soon. We appreciate all of you guys. Thank you all for joining on the training today.